Hello, dear students. Today we are discussing about the antihistaminic drugs. Unit 1 of your subject Medicinal Chemistry BP 501T. So the Unit 1, in the last video that we have discussed about the histamines and histaminic receptors in detail. Now we are discussing about antihistaminics or antihistaminic drug. As we have discussed in the previous video, that histamine, there is a basic amino group containing amines, you can say, and they are imidazolyl, beta imidazolyl ethyl amine, and they are present in the mast cells of various part of the various organs of our body, like skin, gastric mucosa, intestine, lungs, liver, that we have discussed, in brain, everywhere. And especially I have told you that there are the three types of histaminic receptors. One is the H1 histaminic receptor, H2 histaminic receptor, and H3 histaminic receptor. So H1 histaminic receptor, that I have told you, that we have discussed in the previous video, that H1 is histaminic receptor, H1 receptor, they are abundant in the smooth muscles of like intestine, like trachea, okay, that we have, like uterus. So mainly you can say allergic reactions, they are associated with the H1 receptors. So when histamine give the allergic reactions, hypersensitivity reactions, only due to the binding with the H1 receptors. Another, the H2 receptors that are present into the mucosa of gastric mucosa, you can say, in the stomach, and it is responsible for the secretions of gastric juice and HCl. And we know that hypersensitivity or sensitivity or hypersecretions of histamine in our body, it would be responsible, especially in the stomach, when the concentration of histamine will increase and they bind with the H2 receptor, so they produce acidity in our stomach. So acidity sometimes is due to the histaminic concentrations in our stomach. So basically we will discuss antihistaminic drug into two categories. One is the H1 antagonist, or you can say anti-allergic drugs. H1 antagonist means drugs which can antagonize H1 receptors, and we know the H1 receptors, they are present into the mainly in the smooth muscles of intestine, your trachea, as well as the uterus, and they are mainly the H1 receptors, they are present in the blood also, blood vessels also. So mainly you can say that allergic reactions, and allergic reactions, that is hypersensitive reactions, that is called as the type 1 reactions, and the hypersensitive reactions or type 1 reactions due to the increasing the concentrations of histamine into the blood, and it would be responsible for the type 1 reactions, and it may lead to urticaria, itching, and angioedema, itching, rashes on in our skin, the allergic reactions. So the H1 receptors are responsible for allergic reactions. Angioedema, edema means the inflammations, angio means in the coronary artery and artery. So angioedema, as well as the urticaria means it's a wrinkle like you can say redness that we occur on the skin. So that is called the urticaria, and that is these types of rashes that is takes place when mostly in the some patients due to the biting of bees, okay, bees, bees. So due to the bees, biting of the bees, what happen? Some allergic patients, some sensitive persons, that are in which what happen, they can say rashes or urticaria that may be occur, and in that time we required antihistaminics to inhibit, to antagonize, for we can say histaminic action. So as I have discussed with you that antihistaminics that we will discuss antihistaminic drug into two category. One is the H1 antagonist or H1 antihistaminic drugs, as well as H2 antagonist or H2 antihistaminic drug in the category of we can say peptic ulcer. So because of it, the H2 receptors in the stomach may lead to peptic ulcer. So in the treatment of the peptic ulcer, we will discuss, or you can say in the acidity, we will discuss about the H2 receptor antagonist. So today we are discussing about the H1 receptor antagonist. H1 receptor antagonist, that we are discussing the antihistamines or the drug competitively antagonize actions of histamine at the H1 receptors. So the competitive antagonist of H1 means histamines, competitive antagonist of histamines. So these drugs, antihistaminic drug, they are competitive antagonist of histamine. Okay, so what happen? What is the meaning of competitive antagonist? They will compete with the histamine for the binding at the H1 receptors. So H1 receptors will be blocked by these antihistaminic drug, and what happen? There would be no chance for binding of histamine at place of their receptor. So by this way, the histamine may not be able to produce their action, and undesirable reactions will not be takes place, and it will be treated. We can say these histamine get metabolized in our body, and for the some period of time it will be treated automatically. So you might be seen in the general routine life, and so antihistaminic drugs are used to suppress immediate hypersensitivity reactions, that is called as type 1 reactions that may lead to urticaria, itching and angioedema. So that is about this is the introductory part about the H1 antagonist, or you can say antihistaminic drug. Okay, so that we have discussed in detail about antihistaminic drug. That is antihistaminic drug that we will discuss in two category. One is H1 antagonist, another is H2 antagonist. H1 antagonist, that is responsible for allergy reactions. So you can say H1 receptor is responsible for allergy reactions and hypersensitivity reactions. So in this allergy hypersensitivity reactions, it can be immediately treated by using antihistaminics, and antihistaminics are competitively antagonist of action of histamine. So they will compete with the histamine in the binding with the H1 receptors. So that is about H1 antagonist, and later on we will discuss about H2 antagonist, and we know the H2 receptors are present abundantly on the stomach, and they are responsible for the treatment of peptic ulcer. So we will discuss later on. So now we are discussing here about the H1 antagonist. Now we are discussing the classification of antagonist, H1 antagonist. So dear student, I think it is clear to you all about antihistaminics. That is, antihistaminics are categorized in two category, that depending on the histaminic receptor that we have classified the three category: H1, H2, H3, and I have told you the H3 is not responsible for any types of reaction. It is and you can say it is mainly they are present into the brain and responsible for controlling the level of histamine in our body. Okay, so and only the main things, that is, you can say, due to the pathology conditions may increase, or disease conditions may occur in case of H1 receptors and H2 receptors. H1 receptors that are present on the you can say blood or our smooth muscles, surface of smooth muscles, mast cells of the smooth muscles, and their hypersensitive reactions may occur, and that will be treated by H1 antagonist. And H2 antagonist that are present in stomach and that are responsible for the acidity, and that we will discuss in that part in H2 antagonist later on. So now we are discussing our today's topic, the classification of H1 antagonist. So depending on the chemical classifications, we can classify H1 antagonist based on the chemical structure. First class, that is ethylene diamine derivatives. Ethylene diamine means, you look at here in the structure of here the ethylene diamine, one ethylene groups CH2 and at the end of the ethylene groups there is two nitrogen atoms, or say two amino group is there, so that is called as ethylene diamine derivative. So this diamino group get be substituted, so these types of derivative they are called as ethylene diamine. Another category, that amino alkyl ether analogues, means amino alkyl groups and they are ether functional groups. We will discuss when we are discussing this category with the structure examples. Third class, there is cyclic basic chain analog. Cyclic basic chain means cyclic chain would be there and it would be basic because of presence of the amino groups. So the cyclic basic groups, basic analogues, we will discuss in category third. Fourth category that we have, we can classify it based on the structure base only, on their nucleus base we can say monoamino propyl analogues. Monoamino propyl groups would be there. Mono means when one amino group would be there, so derivative of monoamino propyl groups that we have discussed. Then fifth work class, that is tricyclic ring system, means three rings get fused together, cyclic rings, three cyclic rings would be there, and these types of compound they are classified under the tricyclic ring systems. And sixth one, that is newer tricyclic ring system, some new drugs that having the tricyclic ring systems that we will discuss in this category. So ultimately you can say, based on the structure, based on the chemical structure, we can in the medicinal chemistry we can classify H1 antagonist into the sixth category. I am again revising then by name of this category of antihistaminic, or you can say H1 antagonist, that is ethylene diamine derivatives. Second category, amino alkyl ether analog. Third category, cyclic basic chain analogues. Fourth category, monoamino propyl analog. Fifth category, tricyclic ring system. And last and sixth category, newer tricyclic ring system. So we are going now to discuss one by one about the chemistry. So look at here, first category, that is ethylene diamine derivative. Ethylene diamine derivative, it means ethylene groups. Ethylene group means CH2 group is the ethylene groups. Look at here in all structures that is in front of your screen. Look at here, like phenbenzyamine, like mepyramine. Mepyramine is also known as pyralamine malate, as well as methaphenylene hydrochloride. So these are examples of ethylene diamine. Why they are called as ethylene diamine? Because look at here, in all these three antihistaminic agents, ethylene group, CH2 group is there in between two amino groups. So sidely there is two amino groups is there, two nitrogen containing amino groups at the end of, in between ethylene bridge, and two nitrogen atoms are joined with the ethylene carbon, and both amino groups they are substituted by either alkyl substitutions, and alkyl means aliphatic or aromatic groups. So look at here in phenbenzyamine, the phenyl group or benzyl group. One nitrogen, there is contained one phenyl group and benzyl group. There is C6H5NH2 is the benzyl group, and C6H5 that is the phenyl group, and another nitrogen contain dimethyl substitutions. So that is the phenylbenzyamine, and there is antihistaminic, or you can say ethylene diamine derivative. Another mepyramine that is contain you can say similar like one nitrogen, one amino group contain, you can say diethyl group, okay, as well as then one nitrogen contain one is the pyridine ring as well as paramethoxybenzyl group and pyridine ring in the nitrogen, okay. And because of it is a basic in nature, because 3 degree amine, it is the basic in nature, so it will be it will gain the hydrogen ions, H plus ions, protons, and that's why to neutralize it due to the basic character we have to convert them into the it's a malic acid, salt of the malic acid means malate. So the pyrylamine malate, so that is another ethylene diamine derivative. So chemistry that we have discussed about. Another compound, another example of ethylene diamine derivative, there is methaphenylene hydrochloride, HCl. So look at here, ethylene bridge is there, 2 amino group, again similarly ethylene diamine group, and one nitrogen containing diethyl group like phenylbenzamine as well as the pyrylamine malate, and another the nitrogen contain the phenyl group as well as one is the thiazolyl methyl group. So thiol methyl group, and that is called as methaphenylene hydrochloride salt. Means because of the basic character it should be converted into salt, so it would be converted hydrochloride salt. So because of only the neutral condition the compound may be stable. So I hope students you understood the meaning of you can say chemistry of ethylene diamine derivatives. Again I am revising. One example is the phenbenzamine, another is mepyramine, and last one is methaphenylene hydrochloride. Another example of ethylene diamine category, that is triphenylamine citrate. So citrate, it's again salt, and you look at here all the structure similarity, that ethylene group is there and diamino group is there. One amino group contain the dimethyl groups and one nitrogen contain pyrimidine. But look at previous one, there is a benzyl group. So here is the benzyl group. So this is the again substitutions. Another examples, look at here this similar substitutions here in the zolamine and in the thoenzylamine. Okay, so these are again substitution, like a heterocyclic nucleus get substituted R on the nitrogens. Look at here. So mostly you can say ethylene diamine, what you are discussing, ethylene group is there in between, 2 nitrogen group would be there. So ethylene diamine nucleus is essential for activity, and one nitrogen, mostly you can say one nitrogen should be present into the tertiary form by the methyl group, by the dimethyl substitutions, and another nitrogen would be substituted by either aromatic groups or you can say heterocyclic nucleus and electron withdrawing group, highly electron group like methoxy groups, and these all are there should be electron withdrawing group should be there. So that is we are discussing in the chemistry of ethylene diamine category of the drug. Another, so you can say we again look at here some other examples like methapyrylene. Similarly the ethylene diamine groups, one amino group contain the dimethyl groups and another is the pyridine containing group nitrogen, and R would be the either the substitute, you can say thiol, methyl substitute or chloromethyl substitute, methapyrylene, chlorthalene and phenyl diamine. So these are another you can say ethylene diamine derivatives. Okay, so that is we have discussed in the chemistry of ethylene diamine derivatives in detail. Now we are discussing its SAR, structure activity relationship. So the chemistry that we have discussed in the previously. Now we are concluding the the SAR points. We are drawing the SAR points, and on the basis of the SAR point, we can say that what are the essential groups required in the ethylene diamine group derivatives for their activity as antihistaminic activity, or you can say anti-allergic activity. One is that there is general formula for ethylene diamine derivatives that I have discussed with you as antihistaminics, that ethylene bridge and diamino group. So ethylene diamine nucleus would be there. Look at here, ethylene diamine nucleus, and both nitrogen may be substituted by alkyl group or alkyl group, aromatic groups, non-aromatic groups, as well as heterocyclic rings that we have discussed previously by taking several examples of ethylene diamine derivative. So this is the general formula, dear students. Ethylene diamine derivatives, ethylene diamine group, and it's substituted by, you can say, R1, R2 and R dash, whatever may be. So that is you can say substitutions may take place at the both nitrogen or amino groups. So ethylene diamino groups. That is the general structure, general formula for ethylene diamine derivative. Now, what are the special requirements for their activity? Look at here, we have discussed the chemistry of phenbenjamin, and this phenbenjamin is a model compound, is a prototype compound for the series of the compounds. And you know the phenbenjamin, what are the different things? There is a in the phenbenjamin, look at here, what are the specific things? There is dimethyl groups in nitrogen groups. One is the phenyl group, and one is there is the benzyl groups. Look at here in the phenbenjamin. So that is this phenbenjamin is the prototype drug, or you can say model compounds for the series of the compounds. Now another things, that the isosteric replacement, I have told you that isosteric group means means two groups that have similar molecular weight and can say almost similar atomic size. So size and molecular weight should be same. The types of groups can be replaced by as a isosteric replacement. So the isosteric replacement, like phenyl group or benzyl groups, in other groups, another substitutions, especially the para substitution and benzyl groups by the methoxy groups and other, they increase the potency. Because you can say on the one nitrogen and one end of the nitrogen, one end of the amino groups in the ethylene diamine, we have seen that phenyl substitution, benzyl substitutions, and para methoxy benzyl substitutions, and pyridine substitutions, as well as the substituted thiol and methyl thiol substitutions. So these substitutions mainly they are isosteric substitutions, because their molecular weight is almost similar, so they can be replaced, and whatever may be what happen by the isosteric replacement, activity definitely will increase into the ethylene diamine derivative as an antihistaminic drug. Another second SAR for ethylene diamine derivative, that is on the amino group in the ethylene diamine derivative should contain small alkyl groups such as dimethyl amino group and the maximum antihistaminic. What do you mean by this? If one side we are discussing that one nitrogen, it means the two conclusions we can draw here. One point, that the ethylene diamino group required for the activity, and in ethylene diamino group, one amino group should contain dimethyl substitutions, and another nitrogen should contain another heterocyclic aromatic, or you can say phenyl, benzyl, pyridine and thiol, and these are the long substitutions that we have discussed in number of the compounds. So one thing is that we cannot go for higher bulky groups substitution for both nitrogen, both amino groups. Means substitutions may take place on one nitrogen, one amino groups, or you can say diethylene diamino groups. So diamine, the one amine should be you can say substituted by smaller group like methyl, dimethyl groups, and another amine should be maybe you can say substituted by bulky groups or electron withdrawing groups, higher electron negative groups, electron withdrawing groups that withdraw the electrons. So what happen? They probably they enhance the antihistaminic activity of ethylene diamine derivatives. So dear students, that we have discussed in detail about the first category of antihistaminic agents, antihistaminic drug, as a ethylene diamine derivative, as a antihistaminic type of category of the drug. So another compound, that is amino alkyl ether analog. Amino alkyl ether analog we are discussing now. Look at here, amino alkyl ether group. There is ethylene group is there. One miss only the monoethylene groups. Another, then you look at diethylene amine group. There is two amino groups, but here only the one amino groups. Another, there is the ether groups. That's why the amino alkyl. This is the amino alkyl and the ether, oxygen containing ether groups. So amino alkyl ether derivative. This is the general formula: AR dash CH O CS2 CS2. There is ethylene groups and N R1 R dash or R double dash. So that is the meaning of amino alkyl ether derivative. Amino alkyl, there is a ethylene amine, amino alkyl, and ether O, single bonded oxygen. Ethylene means ether groups. So this category of the drug, the general formula, amino alkyl ether derivatives. So now we are this is the general formula. Now we are discussing the examples of ethylene. So it means amino alkyl ether analogs. Amino alkyl ether analog that I have told you. Example is diphenhydramine. Diphenhydramine, it contain general formula. It's ethyl group amino means monoethyl amino and two methyl group substituted amino groups, and ethyl groups, there is CS2 is fused with phenyl group, two phenyl groups. So diphenyl hydramine, there is amino groups, ethyl amino groups, we can say, and ether groups. So that is a sample for the alkyl amino ether analog. I think you understood the meaning of alkyl amino ether analogs. Alkyl amino means alkyl amine, ethyl amine. Ethylene amine is there, but not diamine. Ethylene amine, single amine, and the amino group is maybe substituted by R1 R2, especially in diphenhydramine there is substituted by two methyl groups. And ether groups, oxygen containing ether groups, and ether groups contain the CH, and the CH position there is two phenyl groups. So the diphenyl hydramine is the example of amino alkyl ether analog. Another examples that we can say medryllamine, chlor-diphenylhydramine, bromo-diphenylhydramine, and methyl-diphenylhydramine. So there are the derivative of the diphenylhydramine. What happened? The para position. Look at diphenhydramine structure. Only the one substitution. So there is the one para position of one benzene, and by the chlorine group, then chlorodiphenylhydramine, then bromo group, then bromodiphenylhydramine, and there is the methyl diphenylhydramine. So this is only, and medroxylamine contain the methoxy groups at the R positions. So these are the derivative of diphenhydramine. So you can say alkyl amino alkyl ether analog. The prototype drug is diphenhydramine, and these are the derivative of diphenhydramine. There is medryllamine, chlor-diphenhydramine, bromodiphenhydramine, and methyl diphenhydramines. And deoxylamine, look at here again, the substitution by the pyrimidine and the methyl group on the carbon, the CS2 carbon, hydrogen again replaced by the methyl groups, and the 3-degree nitrogen in the ethyleneamine, it is converted into the 4 quaternary salt. Okay, and that's why it should be converted into the succinate salt. So deoxylamine succinate. Similarly, carbinoxylamine malate. Carbinoxylamine is again the similar, only the substituted by the chlorine group in the deoxylamine succinate, and there is a malate derivative. The deoxylate is a succinate derivative. It's a malate derivative, and the methyl group, it is not present the deoxylamine at the carbon, that is not there into the carboxylamine. There is the hydrogen. So the last compound or example of this ether derivative, there is diphenpyrroline. Diphenpyrroline again, look at his pyrrolidine. You can say nucleus, methyl group, methyl pyrrolidine nucleus is present there, and this pyrroline ring, that is present diphenyl group on the carbon. So it's a ether, and amino group is present in the you can say cyclic ring. So it's another examples, special type examples of, you can say, alkylamine ether analog. A special type of example, that is diphenpyrroline, because of we have seen in diethylamine. So in ethyleneamine. So in ethyleneamine, the ethylene group is not there. Here is the cyclic ring. So nitrogen present in the cyclic ring. So that's why it is a special class of the drug of this category. Now in the SCR point, we can discuss that diphenhydramine is the prototype class of the drug, and the steady factor seems to have effect on the acetohistaminic potency. So we have discussed like previously in the alkyl amino ether analog, diphenhydramine is a prototype drug or class of the drug. So all derivatives, they based on the diphenhydramine category of the drug. Okay, and the steric factor, because by this replacing by the small groups on the diphenhydramine, increase the potency that we have seen, and the utilization of the paramethyl group efforts, you can say the active antihistaminic paramethyl diphenhydramine, and whereas an orthomethyl group causes loss of H1 antihistaminic property, and hence, like you can say, protamine like activity, atropine like activity. So you can say methyl diphenhydramine, that is enhance the activity by the putting the you can say para position of methyl groups in diphenhydramine, increase the activity. So the methyl groups and the para position enhance the activity. Similarly, in benz hydrogen diphenhydramine, it is replaced there is benz there is CH groups, sorry, CH diphenyl groups and CH groups, that is replaced by, if we replace by methyl groups and 2 pyrrolidine groups, then you can say potency will increase. And the para position, the chloro group in the phenyl group diphenhydramine, the chlor diphenhydramine, the potency will definitely increase. And finally, the diphenpyrrolamine, there is another molecular modifications. I have told you a special type of class of drug, that is in the diphenhydramine, the ethylene amine group is converted here into the heterocyclic ring. So nitrogen will be modified in the heterocyclic ring, and it enhances the activity. So you can say alkyl amino ether derivative diphenhydramine is a prototype drug of class of the drug. So you have to be learned about the diphenhydramine, their modifications, their chemistry, the SAR that we have discussed in the antihistaminic 2 class of the drug. One is the ethylene diamine class of the drug, ethylene diamine derivative, and another is there is alkyl amino ether analogs. So that's all for today, dear students. We will discuss in next class about rest class of antihistaminic, like cyclic basic chain analogs, that we will discuss in next class. So please read, listen it carefully, learn and write down in your notebook, and try to understand the chemistry part of the antihistaminic drug, diethylamine derivative and amino alkyl ether derivative. okay, that I have to try to explain you in very easy way and very elaborative way. And so thank you very much. Thank you for today. Thank you very much.